Today's about a story that I've got, a personal one, where I lifted a value. When you shift this, your actions, your behaviors, and your environments all start to magically change. G'day guys, this is Matt Tate from Fork in the Road YouTube channel, and I wanted to share today a little bit of a story. Shifting a value. One of the incredible techniques that you'll learn in NLP or Masters or Crack, depending on where you learn, is about values. How these are internal drivers of things that are important to you. So if you're not, let's say, aligned with your goals, if you're resisting, if you're holding back, the values work is a piece of the puzzle. It's a really good piece of the puzzle. It's actually a piece of the identity puzzle. Because your identity is made up of a series of values that are important to you, that you will meet no matter what. And it's also made up of beliefs about yourself, about the world, decisions you've made, about what things mean. Shifting a value. The first step's making a values list. If you don't know how to do that, I'll do another video on how to create a values list. Now, it was during NLP Masters when I lifted this value using a particular process in NLP. And we lifted up this value in my hierarchy, in my nervous system. And it was a fun exercise, didn't think much of it. And the value I lifted was, I thought, I need to be a bit more organized if I'm going to start a coaching business. Because I think organized was like number 26 on my values list, and it needed to be maybe number 5. I didn't want to give up my growth, my respect, my connection, my learning, but somewhere around 5 or 6, I wanted it to be there because it was going to be an important part. And so I lifted this value with my fellow student who was doing it to me as the coach. I was the client. So this value was lifted. And it was a fun exercise. I could feel some feelings change in the body, but really, that was about it. Then, my fellow student, my friend, he wanted to practice in the break. So I said, sure. He was the coach, I was the client. So I lifted another value, and this one was being disciplined, right? So I've lifted up organized before in the session. Then in the break, I lifted up discipline, where we sat down at tables and chairs, and he did this process on me, lifting up to the position I wanted, disciplined, just below organized. It was number 5 and 6 from memory, a few years ago now. Now, what happened after that is interesting. So that was fun. I could feel it all working in the body. You know, I was the customer, he was the coach practicing, and that was that exercise. Then we moved on to the next exercise. Here's what happened afterwards. So afterwards, at the time, I was teaching at an institute. I was teaching building and construction. For those of you who don't know, my background is I'm in structural engineering as a draftsman, right? Draftsperson. And I'm a draftsperson helping, being the eyes and ears of the engineers. And so I was teaching architects, building designers, what I'm going to do as the engineer to their drawings, right? In the construction class. So this is where I was teaching. And at this institute, there was a lunchroom. And in the lunchroom, one of the manager said to me, because he knew that I had purchased a new car, and he said, hey Matt, did you know you can claim the tax on your Jeep? And I said, oh, really? Okay, cool. And then he said, furthermore, my son is working in an accountant's firm. You should go and have a chat to him about your taxes. I go off to the accountant, and of course he's able to save me a vehicle, claim it back on my tax, which is probably worth a couple of grand in refund. Fantastic. Furthermore, he says, and we can set you up in a structure. And so I was organized differently. And then I had this weird phone call from the bank. At the time, I was refinancing my loan, and we'd settled everything. The new loan was in place, and I was about to start paying. And then the bank calls me and says, oh, by the way, we're going to give you the cheaper interest rate because the interest rates have just dropped and you're still eligible, so we'll just put it into your deal. But I'd already signed up. They didn't have to give that to me. So it was very strange. And then I realized, oh, hang on a minute. I have become more disciplined. I have become more organized. And all of a sudden the universe presented the manager telling me I can claim my GST, introducing me to his son who was an accountant, having a new setup now for my finances, having more organization as it all went through a program on my bank feed. So I was getting more data, more organized, more disciplined. And then the bank magically calls me up out of nowhere. So it seems the discipline and structure being higher on my list opened my brain to see and experience money coming in different forms, because money is attracted to discipline and organization, right? It's attracted towards being looked after. So this was a fascinating first experience in NLP for me, where I lifted a value on my values list, which is why I go on about it, because you change your focus, you change your perspective, you open up your eyes, you move the flashlight of awareness just a little bit, so that in the darkness of awareness, when you move the flashlight, you can see opportunity that is right there in front of you. I thought this was a fascinating experience, and it got me more organized, it got me more focused, it got me more disciplined, and it was people outside of me making that happen. So it's weird. There I was a month or so earlier, and I was in an NLP practitioner coaching training. That was master's training. I've changed these values, and then money started coming towards me in weird ways. I hope that helps you today understand how you do a process like this. It's not a direct line. You can learn from the refocusing. You can learn that the universe starts attracting things towards you. I had shifted something inside myself, and as a result, the outside world showed up differently. So, if you want to show up differently, or you want the world to show up differently, do some internal coaching in some way, shape, or form. Shift your beliefs, shift your values, shift your identity just a little bit, and you'll see different opportunities. So, my name's Matt Tate. This is Fork in the Road Coaching. I hope you enjoyed my little story, my personal story on why I lift values.